Hello and welcome to Business Sense. I'm Ralph Rivas. For today's episode, we have Emman Navalan, CEO and co-founder of Tetrix. Tetrix is a Filipino company that aims to bridge the gap among all blockchain projects. And the group also recently launched a crypto wallet called Pitaka. Now, before all of that, let's ask Emman here. Emman, nagka-crash na yung crypto market. So what the hell is happening? And investors were hyping that crypto is a hedge if you have stocks or other assets. Crypto is supposed to hedge it, but it seems parang it's crashing just like everyone else. So what's happening?
All right. So first and foremost, thank you for having us. Yeah, the market sentiment is affecting generally yung all assets, no. And what I would say is the recent crash is related to what happened in the US, wherein the dollar inflation, and I would say yung increase in the interest is something that is free money, almost free money for many. So they opted to put their money there kasi it's more safe, kumbaga, para sa kanila. And in the context of hedging, di ba? If there's a safe path na available for you, you would definitely choose that. So I would say that affected actually the crash. And more to that is, of course, the emotions of the participants in not just Web3 stocks and the other commodities, but uh, what's happening around the war and so on and so forth. It's not really helping people understand. So parang na backseat yung Web3 para sa karamihan. Yeah.
Mm. Now, with everything that's happening and everyone's looking for support, key support, or the bottom. So, how's this affecting Tetrix? Anong prospects niyo for this?
In general, it's gonna affect the short term of any company doing Web3 right now. So, as many people are fearful of what could happen to Bitcoin, there are some, and there are also many people who are actually taking this as an opportunity to actually buy more, uh, since they're seeing that the technology will be there for longer, and it's very nascent, it's very new, and it would just improve, no, moving forward. It's like the previous cycles of the stock market with any tech driven, I would say, market like S&P, no. Um, Time will come that it will all go back and even reach all-time highs. So some are taking this as an opportunity to actually buy more, and some of them are seeing the opportunity in bigger asset class as compared to Tetrix. We're a bit new, no? So for them, the safer route is of course the bigger assets, yung mga top 100. If you're in the top 100, top 200 projects in Web3, that's where all the money goes right now. So it's affecting smaller projects like us, but it's something that for long, I don't think would be for long. No.
Okay. Now, Tetrix, now you say that your goal is to bridge the gap among all blockchain projects. So tell us more about that goal.
All right. So right now, what's happening is, y- in a way, last in the last few years when we were conceptualizing this, if you're a project and if you're participating in a project, you're stuck with one ecosystem. It's usually Ethereum because of the smart contracts, because they have this big community already. They have good support in terms of the technology and stuff like that. And during that time, there were problems and issues that any new technology would face, and it was not very efficient. So some of the projects were having a hard time operating. Some of them shut down. And this is where we saw that it should be interoperable. You shouldn't be stuck with one ecosystem, because this ecosystem, once it fails, it's not really gonna help your business if you're doing business in Web3. So we decided to create a new way of doing it, doing smaller versions of blockchains, and basically having them to connect with each other easier. So that way, if one goes down, you wouldn't be affected, and you would continue operations. And we also saw the gap between the enterprises and Web3, the adoption of Web3 in those enterprises were in. They are not really jumping in to Web3 immediately. They're using it for certain um, uh, uses, like, for example, in their accounting, logistics, especially as shown in Germany in their manufacturing plants, they're using it already there. But they're not really maximizing the technology. So we decided to create something, that's Tetrix, that would enable them to maximize this.
Mm. So, let's talk about Philippine companies. Sino-sino na bang nasa Web3, or which industries are getting there?
There are a lot. I mean, let's say, for example, banks. Most of the banks are already using the technology, maybe either through partnerships or having their own. Uh, and some of them are actually utilizing it to lower the cost for transactions and making it very efficient when you're uh, how do you say this, closing the transaction between other banks. So it's, in a way, it helped the industry to be more efficient. Previously, you if you're doing your wire transfers or just sending money across, it takes a few hours or even a few days, right, for it to clear. And with the technology, it's faster. And now they could easily settle accounts faster and if more efficient. More to that, there are others who are using it for logistics already. And most artists are trying to actually jump into the Web3 space. So there are a lot of artists, there are a lot of projects out there now. They're using the Web3 technology to connect with people and showcase their talents and their skills through their arts and through whatever it is that they're doing. So there are a lot of companies, Filipino-led companies, I would say, that are emerging out of this pandemic because everything was digital during the pandemic.
Mm. Now let's talk about Pitaka. You just recently launched this. So, what sets this apart compared to the other crypto wallets and the wallets in general here in the Philippines?
Okay, so first and foremost, we are self-custodial. It means that you own your own wallet. We don't hold any of your assets. We don't see your assets uh, as different as you see others see your asset. So it's completely decentralized in a way that you take ownership or you're liable to whatever happens to your own wallet. So it's like your own wallet in your pocket, no? But it's digitalized. So that's what sets Pitaka uh, and makes it different. It's used for that, and it, in a way, is more user friendly as compared to our peers. The reason why is because when we were starting and we were trying to navigate Web3, trying to do trades, we were having a hard time using other wallets. And we wouldn't want that to be the problem of people anymore because, the technology can evolve. And it's something that we saw was taking time. So we decided to create our own wallet because this is something that would help and enable people to faster adapt to the changes and join and understand what Web3 is all about.
Mm. Now, let's talk about regulation. Your thoughts on regulation? I mean, medyo conservative pa rin yung government agencies when it comes to cryptocurrencies and all these new buzzwords, even Web3. I mean to an extent it's still very conservative. And ano ba your thoughts on this? And of course may suggestions pa na patawan ng tax yung crypto and crypto transactions.
Yeah, so this is what's hard, no? When we talk about let's start with the transactions before we go back to, I would say, the regulations in general. Taxes, we already have the regulations for that, diba? It's very generic, and it's something that we, of course, as citizens should make sure that we abide by. So there's no problem with that. If we earn, syempre we pay, diba? Our taxes, and we make sure that that's covered. Um, but the problem here is more on the administration, or how do we do it? How do we collect it? I think that is taking time. That's gonna take time, no, until we are able to really do it efficiently. As any other law, if you have a law and it's not being imposed properly or on the right way, it could make or break certain industry, and at the same time, it would affect your collections in general. So that's for the tax. For the regulations, it's something that we need for any sector that's emerging, or any tech industry that's emerging, maybe AI, machine learning, in biology. So a lot of things, there are a lot of things that has to have clarity first, no? And I think this is something that if it's done right, for as long as the intentions are pure, and it's something that would allow businesses or companies like ours to flourish, and coexist with existing companies to bring revenue to the Philippines, or into the Philippines, right? That would be as important as drafting or creating new laws. Kasi at the end of the day, it's almost the same as taxes. If you're not gonna really impose it well, and it's not well drafted, it's going to affect again the industry, and it will also would affect the adoption. So we welcome regulations because it's something that we need. The confidence of the people could increase because of the regulations that our government is going to draft. So yeah, that's it for me.
Mm. So let me push this a little further. Do you think that regulators are a little behind as compared to the other countries that have more, more clear, that have clearer rules on these new assets and technologies, or ano ba? Open naman ba sila?
Yeah, as I think there's a few who have already discussed with not just me, but the whole team now regarding the regulations. And this is something that's surprising, and I hope this really continues, because the BSP in general, or the other agencies of the government, are pushing for to have a very Web3 friendly regulation and laws. And we also heard news about the Bataan free zone, right? Wherein there's an area there that you could conduct Web3 operations and stuff like that. So, and we're hearing a lot more that's happening behind the scenes. So I'm seeing that, as one of the top 10 countries that are adopting Web3 in terms of percentage, and in terms of users with assets, digital assets, I would say, or crypto assets. We must be also leading in terms of accommodating ideas, and making sure that we're welcome to improve on existing plans for regulations for Web3 as well. So I'm seeing that happening already, and it's just a matter of time. I hope we can include more of the communities, and more of the players who are really working hard to bring the technology, to make everything more efficient, to transform us digitally and stuff like that. So I hope that also is considered, and I do think they're considering that with the other companies that they're talking to, and
Mm-mm.
some of them already reached to us. So we're working closely with them, and discussing, touch points. So yeah, just working hand in hand would make things the impossible possible, diba? So
Mm. Now, let's move on to another topic. No, the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas recently announced this wholesale central bank digital currency or CBDC, and this experiment would begin in the fourth quarter. Now, just for the benefit of our audience, na itong CBDC, unlike other cryptocurrencies which are unregulated and don't have a central issuing authority, itong CBDC is issued and regulated by as the central bank. Now, so it would somewhat ease the extreme volatility associated with crypto. So, your thoughts on this, and where does Tetrix saan yung Tetrix in this picture?
right, we welcome uh, the CBDCs in the space actually because without central influence in these are fiat representations to begin with. So if it's not really backed by real fiat or real currencies, diba? Projects like Luna would happen. Without the proper backing, they would just over leverage, and this is something that the government wants to protect us from. So that's one aspect. And if that's very done right and it's implemented well, it will also bring in more users to the space to try it out. And I think for as long as they do it in accordance to the laws and is very competitive compared to other CBDCs globally, I think we can become forerunners of in terms of CBDC implementation across the region and even the world, because Filipinos would want everything digital. No, we have a lot of users in the crypto space. No, not just that, we're well known for social medias and stuff like that. So talagang well versed ang Filipinos when it comes to uh, digital tools. No, so I think that would even extend yung pagiging top country natin, top 5 or even top 3 country natin to top 2 or even top 1 if that happens. And it's something that would help the Philippines in general. And we would be named as a very crypto friendly or a Web3 friendly country. But still, it depends on the use of the CBDCs, because there are talks in the UK that they would allow the use of CBDCs in certain industries alone, or certain for certain uses. So that would cripple the whole mass adoption that we wanted to happen with CBDCs. So yeah, just making sure that we are always working towards a very common goal, that's uplifting the Filipinos and the people in general, and becoming a more digitally transformed nation. That would be something that would ramp up our country in general. Yeah.
Mhm. Now, I wanna talk about yung impact ng crash ng Luna. I mean, it's a totally different topic na it will take us much time, no, dissecting that. But ano sa tingin mo yung impact with that? I mean, lots of people lost money and were basically traumatized with that crash. So, do you think that has a long-term impact in the adoption of new tech like crypto and the blockchain? And I guess my main question is, where's where's the future headed to? Ano bang real life use ng blockchain in crypto? I mean, we've seen it in international payments, as an investment. Pero for you, Emman, and what's your take? Saan yung future ng crypto?
Yeah, crypto, when we say crypto in general as an asset, it will go a long way for sure because of Bitcoin. And what Bitcoin showed us and made us realize, it's like, understanding previously na before we're okay with the keypad sa cellphone natin, and then realizing, oh, it's better to have a smartphone wherein it's touch sensitive, right? So in a way, Bitcoin allowed us to see something even further, not just for the financial industry, but all industries in general, because blockchain and Web3 can be used in all industries. But it's not a standalone, right? That's something that we also must understand. It's not standalone. And for Luna, what happened for me, what happened there is that since the technology as a whole is a bit nascent and it's driven by emotions, um, that had a big impact. And of course, being over leveraged in a way, um, it didn't help Luna. So I would say that is something that uh, had an impact in general to uh, what certain use cases is Web3 better as compared to traditional means. Because there are a lot of people who lost money, there are a lot of gained, right? In any instrument, it's just transfer of wealth, right? So when someone loses, someone earns, and vice versa. So that's what happened there, and it was really, it came to a shock because everybody was expecting the market to tank because of Bitcoin being a good hedge for hyperinflation. Uh, but then realizing that due to certain reasons like over leveraging assets and not really uh, planning it right has something to do with the long term, I would say, had a long term effect. And that hit Luna after a few years of really performing well. So I would say it's just a matter of time. So these technologies are improving. And while technologies are improving, the use cases that are previously hard to implement are now becoming easier. So, looking back 5 years from now, we would just be laughing, I guess, realizing that, you cannot speed up technology. You can participate early, but understanding that you're early doesn't mean that you'll go all out, that do, uh, you'll implement it in use cases that are hard to even uh, follow for many. So, yeah, for us, it's more on the short term because the technology will just keep on improving. And in Luna, as in Luna, right? Other projects really pivoted. They understood the problem and they're now solving their issues. Issues are that are related to what happened to Luna as well.
Mm. Now, you mentioned that you cannot rush the adoption of technology, but I want to ask uh, the growth prospects of Tetrix naman as my final question. What are you guys doing? What are your plans, future plans? Any hints of possibly, I don't know, new products or services?
All right. So the technology is very technical if you're going to discuss Tetrix, but we do have applications that would allow current users, to slowly understand Web3. So we have Pitaka there. We'll be launching Link, Tetrix Link, that would secure information for you and stuff like that. Next is going to be a social D app. So that's in parallel to the what we wanted to happen, that people understand Web3 better, communicate with people who they could possibly work with in terms of projects and stuff like that. So that's gonna happen within this year and early next year. So yeah, just do look out for those announcements, and we'll be announcing some of them soon. So these are projects that would, for any person, no, allow you to understand Web3 first. So the reason why we're doing this is we wanted everybody to have that, slowly, the slow adoption to really happen starting from now. and eventually understanding and even creating their own projects in the future. So these are tools for that, and these are use cases that would make Tetrix even a bigger network or a bigger ecosystem in general.
And on that note, thanks so much, Emman Navalan, Tetrix CEO and co-founder. And I'm Ralph Rivas. This has been another episode of Business Sense. Thanks for watching.